Welcome back to the Games Revealed podcast. I am James and also the Brink, and we're one community, including one couple. Yes, I know. I keep doing this. We're using a new camera. It's a little blurry, but I like it. We'll see. So don't mind me. Sorry, I'm going to maybe stare at it sometimes. It's just trying out new tech for the podcast. So today...
Also, by the way, my name is Suzie, if you didn't know. That's me.
I waited like a second.
You waited.
I gave you a transition.
Half
a second. Plenty of time in the showbiz to get going. So.
No, you went right into, I'm James and also the Brink, and we're a community. Which, hey, we are.
I know. I like to do that, though, sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of hard. So, today, we can do a little bit of chit-chat, and then we'll get into the topic. If you're reading the title before getting into this, you know what the topic is. I am currently playing Cyberpunk, falling through the floors with the greatest of ease. I might as well be Spider-Man, but without the web, because I am flopping everywhere when I drive too fast. So I get going fast throughout the cities. For some reason, there's something wrong with my game. Maybe it's on an NVMe drive. It's really fast drive typically, but with Cyberpunk, it's been kind of weird. Maybe it installed on the wrong drive. I don't know. But I get going down, and I'll fly through, and then suddenly the floor will appear, and I'm like in water or something else. It's so bizarre. I'll post the shorts up on the Brink channel, but yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. So
just having lots of fun time, huh?
Yeah, fun times, scary times, maybe with it. But anything going on with you, games wise?
Still playing Sea of Stars. I kind of put myself in a weird position where in the game you basically you can cook a bunch of different like food items that each give you different health type things.
Okay.
And I went through my entire inventory and forgot to replenish all of that. And so I'm stuck fighting 2 rounds of like pretty difficult things back to back, and I can't get back to where I need to replenish my stock of, health food items. And so now I'm just kind of in this like, I don't know what to do.
I've been there. Done that. Yeah. In fact, in Cyberpunk, I got to this one spot where I saved right before this cyber psychosis person who goes crazy. They have a bunch of cyberware. They're like half machine. They go crazy because there's too much on their system. And I save right before she starts that attack, and she's in a very aggressive one, like meaning I had to pull out the tricks of double jumping, getting on top of things, double jumping, because if she got near me for too long, like 3 hits, I was dead.
Right.
A little too early on in the game, and it's just like any game from CD Projekt Red, like Witcher 3, I will go in and just try my best to take on things that I shouldn't be taking on for another like 10, 20 levels. Yeah, it's Witcher 3, it's the triple, or I can't remember if it's triple question marks, but you got question marks on your enemies. They're too high a level for you, but
not for you. And
well, one or two I really wanted, and so I did it. I had to reload a bunch of times, but I did it.
Nice.
It just depends on how bad I want to get that question mark monster. Beyond that, though, I would go back to those areas.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in Sea of Stars. They've kind of blocked off the area I need to get to like go back and fix this blunder. And so I'm just kind of stuck where I am, and I'm like, I have to figure out some way to beat the first group without losing too much health so I can heal enough to do enough damage to the second group to be able to heal again. And it's a whole mess.
It's fun. It's fun is what it is. And so
I gave it a break today. I was like, I don't have the capacity to do this.
Oh, I've been there. I feel like that's where I'm at with Starfield right now. I'm just like, I have a ton of stuff to do, a ton of main missions, everything, but I'm going to take a break. Yeah. So I'm playing Cyberpunk because it's fun to play and stream, and I want to get to the Phantom Liberty extra DLC. Oh, there's just so much other stuff. Like The Hunger I want to get to this month because it's the spooky month.
It is the spooky month.
Speaking of the spooky month, I'm going to before we get into the podcast, I'm going to throw a little call out. You should become a member of the YouTube channel as you will get a bunch of bonus levels with the podcast. So if you like the podcast, you're going to love those bonus levels. They unlock when you become a member. And we have, after today, 13 spooky episodes. Most of them are not spooky,
well
but
as some other content. And
yeah. Oh yeah. You got Suzie playing through Dead Space, which is fun. Honestly, she talks to herself. She might have, her and Isaac are having a little bit of voices in the head kind of situation.
Are you calling me schizophrenic?
Potentially. No. Honestly, you're having fun. It's
I'm just yelling at Gladys entire time, which, yes, I do realize Gladys is from Portal, but the ship's like PA system or whatever, I have so dubbed it Gladys, and it gives me something to yell at and be mad at when lights turn off and things aren't working quite right. I can just yell at Gladys because Gladys is an asshole.
Poor Gladys. She didn't do anything. Yeah. Just trying to survive, just drifting through space, waiting for that space engineer to come by and rescue her, a.k.a. Isaac. Which, surprise, surprise, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah, please don't. I need to play more.
That's right. You're halfway through it. So, and speaking of, our topic today and the first item on our list is going to be about Dead Space.
It is.
It is the 13 scariest moments. Part 1, probably. Like, there's going to be a bunch of scary moments that we've had or scary moments that we've witnessed in video games. This is going to be our first list of the 13. Other podcast episodes, I think we're going to do video games and some other stuff, but this is the spooky season, so we're going to have multiple spooky episodes, and this is the first one. And then if you get into the bonus level, like I said, like if you pay for the membership, we're going to get ghost stories, like real ghost stories that I've had. I don't know if you have one, but I have one or two. And so you can make one up.
I can make one up.
You're like, I woke up one day. My husband was next to me. I was frightened. The end. The end. Or was it?
Oh my gosh.
50 more years of this.
Every morning.
I know, right?
It was Groundhog Day over and over.
I kept on getting older. That's just life. That's just life, Suzie.
It wasn't Bill Murray.
You want to be Bill Murray? I don't know about that one.
I want to be Bill Murray. I want to die as a fake zombie.
I mean, in the movie, he wasn't fake. It was Zombieland. So.
Yeah, he was. He was a fake zombie. He went to go scare.
Yeah. You're right.
Columbus,
you're right,
Columbus is just like, wow. I
was thinking of.
I killed Bill Murray.
Yeah, I was thinking of someone else for some weird reason. Wow, I've seen that movie like 50 times. I'm surprised you had to correct me on that. That's how late it's getting. So now that we're into the witching hour of lateness, like you guys don't know this, but it's like it might as well be midnight when we're recording this because we gotta be at the witching hour doing this, and people are gonna correct me on the witching hour, but it's the witching hour, and we're gonna be doing the scary stuff that goes on in video games. So up is number 1. What is that?
That is Dead Space number 1. And this is about Isaac going crazy on the ship. You tipped me off to this just a little bit about it.
Yes.
But now that I know what's going on, because I originally thought it was just like, because everybody on the ship is either a monster, dead, or like hiding somewhere, like going crazy.
I think hiding is very generous.
Yeah.
And you're right. If there is anyone alive, they're crazy.
Every now and again, you'll hear people like screaming like they got.
Oh my gosh, just like because we have long exposure going on, you can see little wisps of orbs going on.
Of Loki hair.
They're orbs.
They're orbs.
They're orbs.
Or radiation.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Where we live, there's potentially okay.
Anywho.
Right on.
So I originally thought it was just somebody going crazy, like just getting on the PA system, just going, that's what I thought it was, just somebody going crazy. But now that I know that maybe it's Isaac, like something's going on with Isaac, and reality is slipping. It's like, when am I going to end up in a bathroom with, pliers ripping out my teeth?
Wow, you really guessed later on in the game. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. That's what happened when I walked into a bathroom once.
So
they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's pulling out his teeth."
That's true. And then there's also a medical ward situation. Have you gotten to that point in the medical ward?
Yeah, where she goes,
and you're just like, no. Just going crazy alone because of an event, and I'm not going to ruin it because you'll see. And I don't want to ruin it for anyone else. Go play Dead Space. It's one of the best sci-fi games that you can play. Like, it is a good horror game. I love it for horror, but I love it just as a sci-fi game, period. It's one of the best ones out there. It's what I'm basing a lot of my game on.
It has
lightly.
the Brink stamp of approval.
It's one of my favorites. I play it more than Half-Life, more than any other game, even though Half-Life's my favorite. Dead Space might be arguably my favorite because I've played it a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game to play.
Oh, I don't generally like horror, and I'm enjoying it. They do a really good job of hooking you into sort of the mystery of it all.
Yep.
And they're really good. What makes it good with the horror aspect is that they're really good at building up suspense.
Yep.
And then also like giving you periods of like feeling like, okay, we're doing good. We haven't run into anything. We're doing fine. And then stuff will just be like, and you're like,
the walruses.
Yes, the walruses.
If you listen to our past episode,
I will stand by my
walrus.
description of there are things on there that look like mutant walruses.
Okay.
It's Justin Long
It's
in
just
the walrus.
It's not chunky. We don't need to get into that. You can go listen to the other episode. But yes, going crazy.
Going crazy is very bizarre and weird and
creepy and
creepy,
honestly,
yes.
it's probably one of the things I think people don't like to lose their mind. And so as you're going through that game, more and more of that happen between people and potentially yourself. So that's why, I mean, this would be at one of the top of my lists of how Dead Space does this. It's so good.
Yeah. So
next up,
number 2
is Resident Evil Village. This one is one that I forgot about, and I had to go through a list. Now, I've played through a bunch of these. Like, I've played so many different games. That's why there's going to be multiple lists. Haunted Dolls in Resident Evil Village. And I'm not going to go into too much depth on this one, as I have other ones I want to go into more depth. But this one was just eerie. Just alone, Resident Evil Village actually had some pretty creepy areas, but it was more action-based until you get to this area. I mean, being chased by a very badonkadonk woman, very large and in charge with large badonkadonks woman, was in some way, for a lot of gamers, scary, arousing, like scarousing. I don't know how to say that, but like, it's bizarre.
Getting
but
a little BDSM there.
Yeah, a little bit of that. So some people might find it a little scary. Haunted Dolls, though, F that business.
No.
Chucky, whatever. Megan, you know, the movie Megan, which is not a kind of a doll.
Dolls just, if it's a very particular type of doll, it's very...
Robert in real life, the doll.
You know, Annabelle.
Like,
it's just, they're synonymous with sort of a creep factor.
Yeah, lores and stuff like that include them absorbing souls or having a soul that's a ghost or something that's possessing it. And it's just something eerie because dolls and these types of things are meant to mimic humans. We're supposed to play with them. Kids are meant to play with them. They're meant to be not creepy, but in some ways they are creepier, especially some old world of them. And that's what's in the village. You got these porcelain style dolls. I don't know if they're all porcelain, and they're floating, they're doing whatever. You're kind of going through this like psychological issue while you're there. It's kind of the person that you have to go after's kind of their skill set. And just going through that whole thing, just that whole area is creepy, but the dolls alone don't help in any way. As they're just floating there watching you, judging you. Maybe that's the scariest part, is they're judging you. So for me, that is definitely on my list of like, don't want to deal with that again. That's definitely, I mean, I will. I love that game, but that's the part where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the chills now. What I don't get the chills from, and it's probably one of the weirdest ones on this list, is the Mass Effect 2 Collectors. And they're the race that you kind of have to finish off at the end of Mass Effect 2. I'm not going to, well, I don't know about finish off, but you have to deal with them a lot more, especially towards the end. And what they do is they steal humans, they steal people, they collect. And I'm not going to go into too much depth on this one either because I have other ones I want to talk about more. But they're of a hive mind race. And so
those are always fun.
Oh yeah, and so they all think alike. They kind of think of like bees because that's what they like built them after is like a bee hive network.
Can we give them a virus and take out the mothership and they all go poof?
Funny enough,
Well, Bill Pullman gives a rousing speech about the 4th of July.
Yes, funny enough, I think that's one of the ways you can take them out. Is destroy their ship that way or have some type of thing. Mm-hmm. Wow. I could be wrong. People can correct me. I know Mass Effect has one of those things, but the collector's part is one that's a little fuzzier on my mind. But you walk through the ship. It's like almost like a beehive in some ways. It's not, but it's like very structurally built. I think it's organic too. Like they built these ships organically. It is just a bizarre race, a bizarre section. Like you go through most of the game, like everything, like if you go on a ship, it's not going to be any type of organic. It's going to be full on metal. Everywhere you go has even like different races, whatever it is, you're going to have like some type of semblance of what it's all about. And then you get to the collector ship, you get going through all this and you're just like, if you really think about it, this would be really a horror based place.
Is it like in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 where they go on like the bio ship and it's like
kind of
juicy?
Not really. They could have made it juicier. They probably could have like if they I haven't played the remasters of Mass Effect 2 yet, but I have played Mass Effect 2 multiple times. I could imagine if they remade the game that it would be juicier, that they could really make it more gooey. And that would make it even creepier. But let's get back to like true horror. And that is the next one on the list, which is...
All right. So we are on to number 4, which is another entry from our friends at Dead Space. But this is for Dead Space 2. And this is the part where our friend Isaac gets, some eye work done. And honestly... I mean, anything to do with the eyes is just creepy. It's awful. Like, I remember the movie Hostel, like when the commercial came out, like there was a scene of them like taking someone's eye out. Like anything like that, it makes you just want to vomit. It's cringe and just anything. So first you're having to deal with that. Isaac's in the med bed thing majigger, his eyes are being like whoop.
Yeah, Dead Space 2 is a dystopian kind of world in a lot of ways where it's very like the metals are very harsh, very edgy, where you have lots of just small metal pieces everywhere. It's very like, and this is an engineering ship. This is meant to be a mining ship too.
Yeah.
So, in number 2, okay, we're in number 2 now. Yeah. Which number 1 is mining ship. Number 2, this section is maybe a mining colony kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, continue.
But, so that's creepy and weird in and of itself. But then also you're having to, you as the player, get the timing right on inserting a needle into his eye, which heebie-jeebies right there. And then if you don't, then this thing just like destroys him.
Yeah. It's the fear of like, hey guys, do you want a needle in your eye? Put a needle, and then that's the thing. You also have Sarah, I believe, hallucinating. You're hallucinating, and Sarah's telling you, put a needle in your eye. Put a needle in your eye. And so the Noontech diagnostic machine is meant to help you. You start going towards it, and if you just look away and it hits red and you press it too quick, it goes in and murks you. And it's just, no one likes anything going in their eye, right? And that's the fear. If I have to have something done with my eyes, am I going to go blind or die? Yeah. And that one definitely plays off that fear for a lot of people, I'd assume. I could see some people just not be able to get past that part.
Yeah. No, it makes me cringe. And
I think you've even watched me play that part before.
I probably
you've watched
have.
me play Dead Space on and off, all
Yeah.
3 of them. And so you haven't gotten to that one, but I know that you've seen it, and that's why, And so super creepy.
Yeah.
Super weird.
I think that speaks for itself. It
does. It does.
No, thank you.
Let me know in the comments below. Do you like things in your eyeballs? If you're on YouTube. If not, then let us know other places.
The only thing is like my contacts. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But it's flat at least. Kind of like, well, it's warped.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At least it's not like how they used to make contacts where they act like it was an actual lens and they had to like fit it and like, mold it, and they were very uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't even want to. That's scary too. But you know what's in a weird way, at least it's a quick death if it goes through your eye kind of. Is it a quick enough death in Outlast when you're getting chased, when you're
So moving on to number 5.
Yeah, number 5. And Outlast, you're being chased all the time. And here's an honest time. Honest. I have not beaten an Outlast. I get freaked out. Folks. Yeah, I've only played the first half of the first Outlast. I've played Outlast Trials, which is an awesome game, by the way. But Outlast is one that I keep on promising I'm going to play through the whole thing. I don't like being chased. They freak me out.
Yeah.
There's other games I could have put on this, like The Bunker. I want to save that for another time. That was freaky. And I got scared, but Outlast, for some reason, you just have this dude chasing you. And it's almost otherworldly at times, but it's not. It's grounded in reality. But you just have this crazy person murking people and trying to take you down. They're just on a spree. And you have the worst weapon on you. You know what that is?
Mm-mm.
It's a camcorder.
Oh.
You're like, whoop. Okay, I can see now. I have the night vision because you can look through the little LCD, and you're like, better not use it all because I have batteries. Whoop, whoop.
I guess, if you run out of batteries, you can just chuck it at him.
It doesn't give you that option.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to take a quick break. It sounds like one of the kiddos is.
Yes.
Do you want to take a quick break? Now that we're back from that short break, Subnautica is the 6th one on the list of our 13 scariest, spookiest. Well, okay. Partial list. Like, there's going to be more in the future. But Subnautica, the Leviathans, is honestly, it's super eerie. You can hear them in the background. When you first pop in, like, if you're afraid of the ocean like I am, I think there's a lot of people that are afraid of the sea or large bodies of water, I think is more correct. You just don't know what's down there. The ocean can get so deep, and they're finding more stuff. You talked about that potentially there's a larger shark than the megalodon that they potentially might have found.
Who knows on that one?
Yeah, and so,
supposedly they found a shark with bioluminescent teeth.
There you go. At least you can see something before you get eaten. But in Subnautica, it's like you drop into this area, and it's this beautiful, vibrant, glowy world, and you're like, "Yay! It's it's under the sea with Ariel from Little Mermaid." And you're just having a fun time.
Oh my gosh, is that Flounder and Sebastian?
And then because you need to eat. So you dehydrate them and eat them. Maybe you're the horror monster. So
probably
we wander on off to, you got to wander and keep on going. You're like, oh no, this is getting to the scary part of Little Mermaid. This is Ursula. It's coming. And it's not, despite whatever you want to think. Because she gets big and mean at the end.
True.
You have to fight her off with a ship that's pretty much not likely to happen in that movie, but whatever. In this, you have these Leviathans. They're out there. You can hear them as you get closer. You can fight them kind of off with a certain mod on your ship, but if you don't do that, especially early on, you're scouting. You are like, I need to get all those resources. There's like a couple of areas you have to get through in this game, and you have to go through Leviathan territories. And they do. They go through and they'll hunt, kind of. And if they grab you, they can sink you down and crush you. So I'm not going to play a joke off of a certain event that happened this year, but you could be a crushed can. And just you see, it's a big snake thing, so that should scare you, like an eel, and it has essentially claws, and it can grab onto you.
Yeah,
and it's just freaky to have something just swimming there. You're like, what is that? And it just comes up and attaches to the front, and you can see it the whole time as it's dragging you down until you die, and that type of stuff freaks me out.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not a big fan of. Subnautica probably has some of the scariest moments for me in the sense of like heartbeat racing, because
that game
I don't like ocean.
I didn't play enough to really. I know there was an area with a Leviathan, and I kind of tried to avoid it as much as I could.
Yeah.
So I didn't really run into them because I just ended up.
She was just good at it. Honestly,
No.
Sometimes,
but like it didn't freak me out as much.
I don't think you're as afraid of the ocean as me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the ocean, deep, dark pits. I mean, I'll go out on a cruise any day of the year, but it still freaks me out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done very well sinking on the Titanic, even if they let me. They're like, yeah, you're crying pretty hard. We're going to put you on the boat. I'd still be like, thank you. I'm still going to die, though, because I'm on the ocean in a small boat. Women and children be damned. No. So, bringing it back into Leviathan, freaky.
Yeah.
And you know what else is freaky? Much freakier, and it's still. And the Leviathan is an alien too. On this is a planet that's just being explored. Essentially, it's a very capitalistic society, I believe, and so you're there, and how you end up there, you get stranded, and so you're scavenging and all that, and you run into Leviathans, and there's a bunch of them. But what else you can run into in the world out there in the gaming world is another scary alien.
Yeah.
I'd say scarier. It's not as big, but it's scarier.
I'd say it's kind of the paramount in terms of aliens.
Oh, it's so good.
It is the xenomorph.
Yep.
In Alien Isolation.
Creepy game. It's another one of those games kind of like Outlast where
terrifying.
You can't really kill. I heard you can kill the xenomorph, but I don't know if that's really, unless you're really good, possible.
Yeah, no idea. I watched you play this.
Yeah. You played a little bit too.
I think I played a little bit, but just watching you play it gave me so much anxiety. I mean, the entire time is just you trying to avoid the xenomorph. And it's just that thing will pop out at any given time. And so it's just a constant is it there? Is it there?
And it will hunt you down.
Oh,
it will really try hard to get you. And they did a good job. The game's so good, but freaks me out.
Yeah.
I don't know if this or Outlast freaks me out more, but xenomorphs definitely freak me out. I think Outlast might a little bit because it could potentially happen.
Right.
It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing where you're like,
well, we've all had that dream of like being chased.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in like the human consciousness of we don't like being hunted by things.
I don't want an alien like the xenomorph to hunt me down and impregnate me with a creature that pops out of your chest. You ever like the movie is amazing, and they really did justice with this game. This game is an amazing game. It still looks good to this day. It holds up really well. I don't know if I should admit this. I have not finished this game yet. I've gotten like halfway through it. I need to finish it. Yep. I was streaming a couple years ago, and I should finish up and stream it.
Yeah, you should.
So what I have finished many a times, and it's very old. It holds up okay, especially if you have mods, is number 8 on our list, Fallout New Vegas. And in this, it has a couple of creepy, scary creatures. And in fact, honestly, if this was real life, if I had to run into like a quarter of the even sentient beings in this, I'd be like freaked out beyond belief, because they have ghouls, they have a bunch of other sentient creatures, and some of them aren't really fully sentient in that they're crazed. But what is definitely not sentient is this creature that you run into in Fallout New Vegas. There's 2 routes you can go. You can take the shortcut, because what you need to do is you need to get to no one can see it.
I know they can, but I can see it, and it's bothering me.
You can get to the casino. Your goal is to get to the casino to do a certain mission. That's like your main goal in the beginning. And well, maybe even the first half to 2/3 of the game, because you can take the shortcut. Mm-hmm. You know what happens in the shortcut? Mm-mm. Most likely you're going to die if you take the shortcut. It's definitely not recommended to take the shortcut.
It's the shortcut to death.
It's the shortcut to death. It really is. There are death claws, and death claws are the scariest thing in this game. Nowadays, with the xenomorph and everything else, I don't know. I'd have to see them reimagined again, even after Fallout 4. They're pretty freaky, and they'll just murder you, especially if you're not very high and have a lot of... I mean, I guess if you're high, you'll just enjoy your death, but... if you're not,
in my mind, I don't know why it interpreted it this, but I'm just imagining you meeting a killer lawyer that's making you sign a death clause.
Oh my gosh!
Before he murks you,
and then we're gonna kill you, and everything's fine. So no, it is this freaky, big, potentially very you'd have to look it up, but it's a very tall, spindly creature that still has a lot of muscle and large claws. And literally, especially in the beginning, it just one-shots you. I tried in the beginning, and it's in a pack too. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them, and I think one of them's like a male or mother, or I don't know. But I tried killing at least even one of them from a distance to try to get to that part. Nope, because I'm stubborn. Yeah, no, you take right. In Fallout New Vegas, when you're heading out, there's the 2 ways you can go on the road. You go right, or else you're going to get murked by that death claw. I'm sure there's a kind of a way to get around it, but there's so many goodies, including one of the best companions in that game, that go right, so might as well. But that thing was freaky as all could be.
It sounds like it would be.
There's a lot of other freaky things in that game, death cults and all that. Like in Fallout 3, there's a whole town that has I think a live atom, and one of the things you can do is you can just set it off and kill the whole town. I think you can do it pretty early on too, so it's like, wow. Yeah, it's pretty messed up with that you could do that. Cool, and it's freaky, but like death claws, man, I just don't want, like, at least nuke if you're close enough is instant death. Bleeding out from a death claws doesn't sound very fun to me.
No,
so,
no, it doesn't.
And it's kind of just funny that it's right there. Literally, you can see the casino that you need to go to in Fallout New Vegas.
So they're tempting you.
They are. And I took the bait, and I kept on trying, and I just couldn't. Like, but this is like a very long time ago, like a decade plus. Love the game. It's creepy as hell, death claws. And but much smaller, but still freaked me out a lot were
the zombie dogs from Resident Evil 1.
This is rolling in as number 9. Yes, they did.
Yeah. Well, I think what makes this so creepy and like so much of a jump scare is that you're walking down a hallway clearly not expecting anything to happen. Yep. You're probably just trying to get to your next objective or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, these giant dogs jump through the windows.
Yep.
And start chasing after you. And so, like, it's perfectly timed for you not to expect it.
Yep.
And that and I mean, especially, when did Resident Evil 1 come out?
96, I think.
Okay, so 96. This is a long time ago. So, I mean, this is
creeping up to 30 years. Isn't it?
Yeah, 3 more years. Yeesh, that's gross.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either. That's no, thank you. But yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, I mean, I don't know how many things were.
It could have been 99, but I think it was 96.
I'm sure there was a lot of experimentation with that sort of thing. But it definitely, because, this is 30 years and it's still on, like, every list I've seen. It's clearly made an impact for a reason. So, yeah. I don't know if any game had quite done it quite like Resident Evil had at that point.
No.
So.
No, it's even to this day, there's remakes, like on the GameCube, but even the original one, like it had the zombie at the very beginning. The blue eyes was freaky for me and for a lot of my friends. But then you get going on a little bit further and you get going down this room, and then with the way that the camera pans around, it's a still camera and it's set in angles. So you have to control the character, And so it just makes it feel even weirder to like, you're going down, you're like, okay, you're not expecting anything to pop out from the windows. You're probably expecting maybe a zombie to be in there, but suddenly,
yeah,
zombie comes through the window. And it's one of the, and back then you wouldn't have expected something like that.
Yeah.
Even today, like it still freaks me out. Good old fashioned zombie fun. And they're fast. That's another thing. Fast enemies are also freaky.
Yes.
You try to have to take them out very quickly. And the zombie dogs are very much freaky.
Yes.
What else is freaky? Laura.
Yes, from the Evil Within at number 10.
Coming in at number 10. Laura. There's a lot of different things in Evil Within. And honestly, I'll choose something else maybe next time from the Evil Within series, as Laura might be the scariest thing, but she just grows a ton of limbs and chases you down, killing things along the way. Maybe I should have done this a little differently, but the Evil Within, you're essentially, it's a mindscape kind of thing. It's a mind F in some ways, where you're stuck inside the mind of someone else. And I'm not going to give away everything about this game, but like I said with Dead Space 1, going crazy is not fun. When you think about like the mental state, maybe taking you out or being stuck in a mental state, does not sound fun. And on top of that, having creatures like Laura wandering around, chasing you down, taking you out, because she's a boss.
Yeah, and she's freaky looking.
She is freaky looking.
Really unsettling.
Arms for days.
Yeah.
Legs for days. But not in a sexy way.
Yeah, I was like, if that's your thing.
If you like dying, is a sexy way. So yeah, Laura, freaky, game freaky, peaceful save room. I love the save room where you look into a mirror and you go into this room. Still eerie, but peaceful. And just knowing that there's creatures out there like Laura waiting around. Even in the beginning, there's like of Evil Within 1, you're running away from this butcher guy. And it's kind of freaky too, like, because there's hanging corpses and stuff like that. So this is a game that where it goes very extra with blood and gore, but in some ways it's very warranted with the way the world is. And it's freaking creepy. And the next game on our list is also kind of like it's a very eerie world that's created and almost in a way stuck in the mind of the protagonist in some ways of how this world is.
And so for number 11, we have Silent Hill 2 Pyramid Head, or Red Pyramid Head, or just Red Pyramid. He goes by many names.
He goes by many things. Pyramid Head's the one I know. If you get really deep into the community, like the Red Pyramid thing, I think is one of the things it can be called.
Yeah. So, yeah. Firstly, like, it's a humanoid with a weird pyramid for a head.
It's like a cone. It's like a traffic cone. You can almost think of it. It's like a big traffic cone. Which,
go.
like, that sounds silly. That sounds fun until you see it and you're like, no,
it's really weird. And then when you first see him, he's, having some Frankie Dink whatever with like a couple of mannequins and
it's not mannequins. They're like stuck together because you don't know Silent Hill very well, but you have seen this scene. Yeah. And you might have seen the movie too. And I've shown you this multiple times when we've talked about this. Yeah. And this is probably one of the freakiest bosses for me in any game. Just, I don't know what it like drag. So he's dragging this sword around. This like essentially horse sword thing. So in Japan they have, I can't remember what they're called, but they're massive. You see those massive swords. I think that was actually a real thing. It was used to dismount people from their horses, technically, not really meant to be like a serious weapon. It's something like that. Huge sword. Swinging around, just scraping the ground. And on top of that, you have the scene with the weird, they're not mannequins, but they're like faceless creature.
Yeah. Do they even have heads?
I think they did.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember
Either way, it was just like, well, I'll just walk in on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, and it's such a weird suggestive thing too. Yeah. It's so bizarre, and the Pyramid Head's so bizarre, and just the way he has to feel around I just don't know what it is. It's just so creepy.
He's very off-putting.
Yeah, like, that's what it is. Where you're just like, this should be funny, and it's not in any way funny.
I think it comes back to just like big creepy monsters. That's one thing that's scary.
Yeah.
But I think something that freaks us out as humans more than anything is things that are almost human. That
are similar.
Yeah.
But off.
Exactly.
And something that our brains can't handle does not do well with us. Mm-mm. If we like looking at something, they're like, let's say if someone loses their head, but they start walking still. Because, they're running at you and they lose their head. This is very morbid, but like they're still running towards you. You'd be like, for a few seconds until they fall down because of momentum. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What's going on here? This is not supposed to be happening.
Unsettling for us.
Yes.
And so Pyramid Head sits on like that plane of like just being very, he's almost human, but not.
And so, and that's why I think he's such a great character is that, and well designed. It brings that, and this is a PlayStation 1 game. Yeah. It's getting remade. I believe Silent Hill 2 is being remade, so it'll be fun to see how scary he comes across. Hopefully still the same, because honestly, still one of the scariest things in gaming.
And to be fair, I feel like older games that have, early graphics and stuff like that, I feel like sometimes that makes them freakier.
Yeah, because it has that weird atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Silent Hill has it has fog in it, and it's partially because they didn't want to deal with renderer distances, and that's how they dealt with some of the graphical limitations of the PlayStation 1. Mm-hmm. Fun fact there. But also on top of that, it adds for a very eerie town, and on top of that, you got Pyramid Head wandering. Well, I don't know about wandering, but like trying to take you down.
Yeah, going through the mist.
Now, this is my favorite game series. Dead Space is I'd almost tie them at one now, but Half-Life 1 or 2, we'll stick with 2 on this one. This is number 12 on our list, zombie reverse talking. And these zombies in here, so what's freaky about the zombies? I'm going to go really deep because, I know the lore of Half-Life like the back of my head.
This is like your game series.
This is my game series. I've done a podcast in the old podcast on Half-Life. These creatures, so they're human. The head crab will attach and then start a process on your head of taking over. And once it gets attached to your body, it starts forcing your body's bones to reconstruct a little. While this is all happening, a lot of people don't know this. The person is still semi-cognizant, still alive. Like the head crab's goal is to have a host to keep it alive. So you can, it will elongate, cause a chest oftentimes to rupture and be exposed. A lot of gruesome things to occur from the head crab. When you hear the head crab talking, it also reverses the way that the old host or the person would talk. It's reversed. And
so is it like completely reversed, like the word is said backwards?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you go and I've taken the file and done it, if you go and reverse the file, you have a secret message. And no, it's not it's not like Pink Floyd kind of stuff.
Oh, no Led Zeppelin.
Is it Led Zeppelin? That's what it is. I think Pink Floyd was another one of those
I
ones.
think AC/DC,
there's a couple of them, yeah.
Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith.
There's secret message when you reverse it.
Yeah.
This is real, and it's fun. It's a fun Easter egg. I love it. And it's so gruesome. It's like if you catch the zombies on fire, and I can't remember if this is in Resident Evil, Half-Life 1, but Half-Life 2 for sure. If you catch them on fire, they'll start screaming stuff, and if you reverse, that's like, help me, or they'll.
Oh my gosh!
I think they also beg for death in some parts. That's super morbid, but it makes it super creepy to where you're like, you don't expect Half-Life being like a full-on horror game. It's really it has horror aspects and it is a horror-esque kind of game, but that's what makes it creepy. Is like, would you want to be in that or in something like Doom as the Doom guy, like where you're just murking people? That, because I'd consider that horror, action horror. But in Half-Life, you would never want to be like taken over by one of these head crabs. It's an excruciating just situation to be in, and being alive and just being semi-cognizant potentially while that's going on is not fun. And that's why it's honestly one of my scariest things that I keep going back to. It's a fun fact.
So why do you even have that thing up there? That's a nightmare.
He is Lamar, and he has been defanged, and he's helpless. He'll try to couple with your head, but it's fine. You can just let him kind of go at it and just
flip him over. He looks like a certain thing.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No.
Yes.
No.
He refuses to acknowledge it. It looks inappropriate.
It doesn't look inappropriate. I mean, if it looks like that, then you have major issues. I need to go see a gynecologist. So,
You're in denial.
I'm not in denial.
You're in
That's
denial.
a river. So yeah, no. In Half-Life 2, they even like Lamar's a defanged head crab. So go play Half-Life 2. Play Half-Life 1 first. Half-Life 2. If there's ever a sale, the whole pack's like $1, I think. So you play it, and just imagine being a head crab zombie, which is one of the freakiest things that you can potentially be out in any world, because you're still alive, being slowly contorted into longer claws, chest, whatever it is. It's keeping you alive. But the last thing on my list,
mutilated version of you alive. Yes. So what's number 13?
Number 13, and this one's very fitting for the scary, off-putting. So a lot of them, the ones that we talked about already, really don't go into ghosts and freaky things. Now, Silent Hill, those are just creatures out of like nightmares,
right?
Because it's still like those are almost demonic creatures. And if I'm not going to go into the Silent Hill lore, that's a whole other thing. And evil within is it within your mind, but still like creatures. The demonologist, number 13, is ghost hunting and demon hunting. But I'll be honest, this game's a little disappointing when it comes to the ghosts, because demons. I thought it was going to be more demons, Beelzebub or whatever.
Right.
No, they're just ghosts. Like they have like Onis and like a bunch of other things. And poor descriptors, so figuring them out's not very fun. But man, dude, the scare tactics in this ramp up from Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is fun. It's scary. It's a good old time. I get freaked out going into rooms by myself, and especially when it's VR. But Demonologist, I don't know if long term would be as scary, but like when I was playing it by myself on stream, I have a couple. Like if you go to the Brink, youtube.com/@thebrink, TH3BRNK. You can go see my shorts and stuff, like me getting freaked out by it. And yeah. There was one time, like this is probably within the first few minutes of getting into the house. I went upstairs, I was looking through it, and then I hear this, and I turn around, and in the doorway, there's just a kid that goes by on a trike, which you once again would think, oh, well, that's kind of funny. No, it's eerie. I don't want to see a haunted kid go by the doorway on a trike kind of thing. I don't want to see that. I don't like that. I did not realize that was going to be a thing in this game. It seems very, because the game isn't like the world's best, like well-made game, but apparently, well, okay, it's pretty good. It's just like I said, there's missing pieces.
Right.
But that was detailed enough to where I'm like, nothing like this in Phasmophobia. I was not expecting a haunted little kid to mosey on by on a trike.
Gosh, it's a kid from The Shining.
Yeah, it kind of is, except for, this kid is a ghost or a haunting or whatever.
He never made it out of the hotel.
No. And with the same house, like you go into certain areas and you'll hear the ghost try to talk to you, and even like try to convince you to die and stuff like that. And it's like super eerie to have something trying to talk to you, and you're almost like, this is feeling like a conversation. I think you can even have conversations in that game, just like in Phasmophobia, like slight conversations. But the scariest part for me was when I was in this one area where I'm like, okay, the ghost is here. I need to do stuff to like help prevent it so I can get past this level. Lo and behold, he appears and starts like just going at me. And it freaks me out. I just was not expecting it to appear and then just go straight for me. So I was running out, freaking out. And while ghosts and ghost hunting isn't the thing that I'm most afraid of, I like it more as just a hobbyist, kind of have fun, kind of scare yourself kind of thing.
Right.
These types of things are what truly would be scary if they exist.
Right.
And do they exist? I don't know. But we're going to talk about that a little bit in the bonus level episode today, as we are ending this episode now in with the demonologist, where maybe you should go play it, maybe not, but it is freaky.
Yeah.
Just like the story we're going to get to in the bonus level.
The horror genre is alive and well, and it has a giant backlog of excellent games. So if you are a horror fan, there are a lot to check out.
There's so much to check out. There's so many games. We'll do this again in the future, and we'll have plenty of fun with it. And we'll have plenty of fun in the next part. So, with that, I'm going to leave you. The next episode is going to be, as long as it's edited properly and everything it's already recorded, it's going to be with Mikkel. So if you want to go know what it's like being a content creator and doing YouTube and doing all that stuff and what it maybe even takes, you can go listen to that. So keep an eye out for that. It will be coming out soon. Also, for cleanup of any, I don't know, like cleanup, whatever it is, make sure to subscribe, follow, comment, do all that stuff. It helps grow the podcast. Obviously, becoming a member is one of the best ways. We'll have a new, I talk about Patreon, but I disabled the Patreon until it's more fully fleshed out. And maybe there's not or maybe we'll do something else for helping us out. But with that, as always, just listening and commenting and having fun with us is maybe what we want the most. So
yep.
Hope to see you guys in the bonus level and catch you guys later. Peace out. Don't be afraid of the dark or things going by your doorway. Just remember, if you hear a little trike squeaking on by that doorway,
no, thank you.
It might just be a little kid. And you're like, wait a second, I don't have kids. Yeah.
In our case, it probably is a kid.
You might now with that haunted kid going by on the trike. With that, have a great Halloween season. Peace out.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Congrats. Secret level unlocked. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter to curb that craving for more. If you like this episode, then make sure to leave a like, rating, follow, or whatever the platform has. Also, make sure to check out our merch at shop.gamesrevealed.com or shopundead.com. Peace.